Dale Earnhardt's emergence as a household name in racing happened at this building right here, which used to be the home of Rod Osterlund Racing. His crew chief was Doug Richert, and Doug is actually going to meet us at the building and check it out for the first time in 40 years right now.
That floors me. I would have never thought this was here. I got to think.
This whole place right here, you would never ever think this was a race shop. I believe Doug is here already. Is that Doug? Yep, that's Doug.
What's happening?
When was the last time you've been back here?
Hey, I was just sitting here thinking, 1981, I left this shop. I've never been back. This thing don't look anything like when I left.
Really?
Oh gosh. I can only imagine. I probably won't even be able to recognize inside the shop just because of looks like what they've done with cubicles and, you know, workplaces and stuff like that. So
does the outside seem similar? Like they added doors and stuff?
Well, it does look like, so that area right there where the Sweet 350's at, that has been modified. We used to have a cleaning area under there. Those two doors right there went to our final prep. That's where we put the motors in and things like that. Huh. Yeah, so I recognize that part, and I'm sure the big shop has changed a whole lot.
How you guys doing?
Nice to meet you.
How you doing? Doug Richert.
Doug, nice to meet you. Art parent.
I was just telling him, 1981 I left this shop and hadn't worked in it again.
Really?
When it was a race team.
Amazing.
Do you remember that part of it?
No, not at all. I got it, and it had bars on the window. I lived in a neighborhood over here at Davis Lake, and I would drive by it, and I talked my wife into buying it. I said, Laura, that's an opportunity to turn it around. And it was vacant. It had Enterprise at one end and a garage doing car repair at the other end.
So Osterlund Racing owned the shop when I left. And then J.D. Stacy came into town and he bought the whole team. And that's the reason we left here. Me, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Rick Peters, Steve Blackwell, we all left and went to Richard Childress Racing.
Okay.
What's funny is you think about that relationship that Dale and Richard Childress had. It wasn't from that point though. We only went up there for 6 months. We left here halfway. So we won the championship in 1980, and then our team got sold. And so it was in 81 when we picked up Wrangler and all that as a sponsor. We had a marketing company down at the end of that building.
Okay.
Down the end, that's where Joe Whitlock, Judy Tucker, that's where they handled all the PR stuff and
Judy
all
Tucker
that.
still worked for Blue Max when they were using the second building over there.
Blue Max and Rusty Wallace and all them was down there on that other side also.
Let's walk around and pretend it's 1979, 1980 and tell us.
Do I have to put my work shirt on too?
Did you bring one? Ooh.
Did you? Yeah, put it on.
Yeah, Rambo did.
Awesome.
He started the trend.
That'll be cool.
Well, let me see what I can find.
Cool. I knew nothing about it. I'd keep running into people that would tell me stories and...
Oh gosh, yeah, we used to run go-karts around the parking lot. We'd wait for the train to come over here and we'd go up and run the train.
Nice. That's what I have 2 girls, and so when I was doing this, I'd do it. It was my second job, so to speak, but I'd do it at nights and weekends. and I had 7 go-karts here. My kids would want to come. They'd be like, Dad, can we come and help you work? You know, they wouldn't help me. I'd put cones out that race their go-karts around. And then, you know, and I'd be inside trying to add sheetrock or, you know, cut metal doors down. I know where the dyno room was up there.
It's actually right there.
And then you had another one here, probably. Yep. And then there was this room that was like, for lack of a better word, a huge pressure washing room.
Yeah, the cleaning room. That was right here on this back side.
Yeah,
well, there was a motor shop in there.
Okay,
The motor room was out in front of this section here.
We sawzawed that thing out of there. It took weeks. You know, it was huge.
Hey, it still fits.
That's impressive.
That's from '79.
There's a lot of people that couldn't do that.
Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I can't even forget who I was.
Who painted a face on your back?
I know, I can't look at the back of it. I have no idea. I don't know who did it. Somebody messing around, of course, you know. You roll my window up.
So did you have to walk around the track back in the day with a smiley face on your back one day, or was that like your shop shirt?
No, this was like after I got gone. Well, look, speaking of the train.
Yeah, the train.
Here it comes. So these two rooms right here was where we did final preparation on the race cars. So we'd go in there, we'd put the motor in, we'd set them up and stuff like that. We kept the hauler out back here. We all loaded from the behind. But yeah, I don't know what's behind those doors now. Right?
Storage for a business out front.
So you're obviously doing pretty good, because I drove by the front. It looked like they're all occupied.
It's a home run. Absolutely home run.
See, racing to retail.
Yeah.
Racing to retail. It's some
Racing to
R&R. Like I said, that center building was the only building here. Up on top was a full crane system. Was that here when you got here?
Yes, it's still there.
Still in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the one thing we liked. That was our fab shop. That's where we did all the building. We built our own chassis, rear ends, all the suspension work, everything like that is all done in there.
And
We pick a car up, go down to the end.
Awesome. And they had the lights that would swing in and out.
Yep, just to get out of the way, and that was because of the crane.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we could move stuff along
Okay.
and then swing the light back out.
I didn't realize. Yep, it makes perfectly good sense. I didn't realize that the necessity was the crane.
So we didn't have a full-blown body shop. The body shop was just right over here, built into the double doors there, and it was just basic enough to get a car painted.
Which door was it?
That's what I was thinking. Was
The
one
double doors right there, those gray
Is that
ones.
painting?
That was a paint booth.
That's right.
That one.
Okay, all three paintings.
So you
They
see
had-
where the squares are in the door. That's where the filters are.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff we like to look at, is what is still left from that you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Because you could walk back here and look at this, but you wouldn't know that that's where filters went unless somebody was here to tell you that's what it was.
That's like a tattoo
Yeah.
shop in there. Now, you know. But yeah, so that's all
filters,
intense.
So, but when I was talking about the body shop part, well, all we did was paint and Bondo work in there. But over there, like nowadays, you have a rotisserie, they call it, and they hook it on each end of the car, and you just turn it upside down and you stand there and you paint it. Well, we didn't have rotisseries back then, but we had a crane. So we picked the car up, we go all the way out as far as it would go, and we made 6-foot tall jack stands. And we just set the car on jack stands, and we stood there and we painted the car. That's how we did the bottom of the car back then.
Nice.
But it was the crane. We were really kind of one of the first shops that actually had our own parts room in it, which Butch Stevens created BSR products.
Huh.
They were very successful, but he was here and got our parts department started. We were building our own chassis. We actually started selling chassis to other competitors and things like that out of here too. Jim Delaney and Jivey Simpson was our two main fabricators that worked in here, and they both passed unfortunately, but they were spearheaded all the mechanical side.
Do you remember Lake Speed renting a spot in the building next to that
Yeah.
one?
Oh yeah.
You were there when he was there?
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Well, I remember it, let's say that. You got to remember early on. I left early, but I do remember it after the fact. And that's what it was for. We built that just for leasing out
Okay.
to people.
I had no idea what to do to this building. I thought this was gonna be my nemesis. So it was like there's a huge mezzanine up here that had a steel floor you could look down.
Yeah, and we use that a lot for storage.
That's what I was thinking. That it was
Oils, greases. We used to get a lot of stuff from Unical,
and it had lock-up cages and stuff.
and that's because it was also a parts department on this end of the building.
Okay.
Was there the staircase up to the mezzanine right here?
Yeah, we can go up there. You'll laugh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I tried to unlock the door.
Somebody in there? Maybe.
What was this room? Was that there before?
Oh, good. Oh, cool. Somebody's in. I didn't even know it locked.
So this is all original here.
Yeah. So this right here, you're gonna laugh.
Ah, still got stuff up, huh?
But yeah, and I was even laughing. I was like, I probably should have, like, when I cut the stuff out, I probably should have said, you know, Dale Earnhardt, because I'm like, they all probably took showers in this crazy
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Is that the same shower you remember?
A little. I mean, it's hard to me remember stuff that didn't really.
That was a long time ago.
I know.
I got
But-
a good memory, it's just
So
short.
that was the front of the building. Upstairs is the mezzanine. This was built on, and then Roland Wolotica had his office here.
Gold ceiling?
This was an office area, and then that led into the motor room.
Gotcha.
And then, because he kind of spearheaded building the motors and stuff at first, and then Lula Rosa came along, and he started doing the motors and stuff, and so then that was all built, and then we moved to the backside and built an area for prepping the cars. So
I've only ever found, I think, 2 pictures of inside this building. Like
I've got some somewhere. I cannot find them. I'm terrible. I got buckets of pictures around.
I always thought that the cars, when I looked at it and saw those lights, that they would be built like this, but they were actually built along the wall, right? Like
The cars were.
Yeah, the cars.
Yeah, we had surface plates on each side. The center was open so that we could pull stuff in and out.
Okay.
We had forklifts. We had the lift.
Neat.
You know, we did a lot of moving stuff.
Where's that crane at? So you
We'll
can
go,
still see
go
it?
take a look at it.
Yeah, I want to see the crane.
Here.
That's like the surviving jewel of...
My kids are.
I was wondering if they were still in here myself.
My kids are all in their late 20s now, but this was their hangout, so to speak, in high school.
Notice the stairs we're about to go up right now are not there in this picture that's taken in probably 1978 or so. Somebody correct me. But you can see those electrical boxes up there, right to the right of that doorway. They are the same boxes that are in there right now. I would think maybe Stacy or Blue Max or some of those other teams after Osterlund moved the stairs over to make the upper mezzanine bigger. But the doorways are all in the same place, and the electrical boxes are the same as they are here in this picture.
When you're like 15 or 16, it's a miserable time.
Right.
You can't do anything, you know?
Are these the same stairs that were in here?
Yeah, so these are the same stairs.
This is kind of,
I need to
This
start
is starting to get interesting now.
yeah, it looked like a little lounge.
I need to call it Dusty's because it's always dusty in here. But you used to have little parties and stuff in here and
That's cool.
whatnot. So this is the mezzanine.
Right.
And then that was a cage, like a metal, you know, like a lockup for expensive parts probably.
Yeah, it was. And then we also, I think we had it closed off underneath too. I don't know what you had because we operated out of the bottom on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
And you always had to, parts were parts, right? It's easy to walk away with.
Right?
Everybody tries to keep it on. It's kind of neat what you did.
I didn't know what to do with it, you know? And I had a buddy.
Game room.
I had a buddy here that was helping me. He was my age, we're getting older, it's hot in the summertime and stuff. And so I'd be like, Kevin, if you get tired or overheated, go up into this room, because I didn't know what to do with this space, it was the last thing. I fixed up the other ones first and rented them out. And I said, come and hang out up here and, rest or whatever. So I got like a lazy boy chair. And then the next thing I said, Kevin, I went to high school with this guy. He's a super nice guy. And I said, Kevin, let's get a pool table. My wife is looking for me one day.
I don't know who's coming.
Art, Kevin, Art. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know any of this stuff's up here. And she comes up the stairs. What do you got? What are you doing? And I'm like, this is our break room. I said, Kevin, man, I don't want you to hurt yourself trying to help me out working. So this is our break room. And then the crane and stuff.
Can you still see it?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, there's the rail.
And that's the beam it rode on?
That's the beam, and that's the beam right there.
I wouldn't have known how to remove it, Some of the stuff was kind of done on the fly. This is the disco dance room. College kids things that they didn't.
Mirrors on the ceiling. Did you take those from over Roland's desk?
No.
Maybe I figured it might
The
have
ceiling, this guy rented space for me over the industrial park that I have. And what it is they hang it in. I don't think it took off in America because sheetrockers and whatnot, but they hang it in and then they take a heater and it shrinks up. And
cool.
Yeah, so really cool. And so he did that.
This guy, I have a disco ball at home. This guy you need.
I need your disco ball.
It's real, 28-inch diameter disco. I got the motor to spin it and everything.
I'll take it, baby.
Did you expect anything like this to begin here when you pulled up?
No, like this is kind of cool.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I got the DJ thing. I rented it out, this space.
I'm super pumped to tell you guys about our new channel partner, and that is CHANNELLOCK. I think everybody has dealt with a pair of these things before with the famous blue handles. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And they're actually less than an hour from where I grew up in Pennsylvania, so this is a really special one for me. Since 1886, CHANNELLOCK has been continuously engineering specialty pliers to meet the needs of the tradespeople who rely on them. And they're not stopping now. We got something really cool that they just released recently to show you guys. CHANNELLOCK is proud to release its all new specialty locking pliers. We've been using these things for a while in the shop now, and they are freaking awesome. So look at this. I got a set now where it takes a good bit of strength to clamp it, and I can pop it with my pinky. I can get it apart. It will not pinch your hands. And adjustable lock nuts on the back so you don't lose your position. It drop forged jaws and chrome vanadium steel construction for excellent durability, plus a really tough epoxy resin coating. The CHANNELLOCK professional locking pliers are made in over 13 different sizes and configurations. Help us help bring you more racing history and awesome car stuff by checking out our specific product link in the description for CHANNELLOCK. We'd love to do some more stuff with them, and you can help make that happen. Support brands that support things you like. That's how we keep racing alive.
I used to rent it out for parties, and then the fire marshal was like, you can only have 49 people. So then I started calling it 49 or less. You know, parties after 6, 49 or less. Here's the crane.
The crane.
And then all the lights. You know, I didn't.
And that's what you took down.
Yeah, on a budget, I didn't.
Now they're still hooked, right?
Oh, they're still hooked up, sure.
Oh, those are the swing out lights.
Yeah, so they pivoted from each post.
There's more evidence here than I expected.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't have thought that this was still in here, but sure enough.
If I had had more, you know, a higher budget to work with, I probably could have made some money off of having it renewed. I didn't know what to do with it, you know. Even that part of the crane, somebody could actually. That's probably the most sellable thing there.
Right.
Does it have any markings on it that say Osterlund or Blue Max or anything like that? It still works?
Oh yeah.
That is awesome.
Cool enough. Who would ever thunk it?
Not me. I was not prepared for this.
You left one of your go-karts here?
Was that here?
No, it was here, but yeah, I stuck it over there. They found it in one of the buildings.
No,
that's probably like 1 million years old, right?
Here's all the lights. So is this stuff that you put in?
Yeah, so I did this floor and tried to do the suspended ceiling just to make small units. So I called them key man offices, you know, in order to rent them out. Now they're all rented now. And there's a grocery store in the front. The lady is Mexican, I believe, but it's South American type food, so she doesn't have to compete with Food Line and whatnot.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is different. It's just spent towards me. I would have never thought this was here. I got to take pictures myself.
I would have thought that, like,
my buddy Dave, he started with me. And he went back to California. We lived here. You know, he'll get a kick out of this.
the crane.
I can't believe you still push the button and it works.
I know. I feel like you should push the button, you know, like take a picture with the controller.
Hey Dave, I want you to check this out. I'm in the original building that we started with at Osterlund Racing. And look at this. The crane is still here, and check this out. It's still works. This guy bought the whole building and stuff. And he would come up here and the crane still works. Can you believe it?
No
And
way.
you remember the lights that we had hung on the beams? They're
This is
still
just-
on there. Or you could swing them out of the way. Who would have thought that? All right, that's the Osterlund throwback for Wednesday. See you, Dave.
Do you think he has any pictures from in here back in the day?
Well, yeah, I have them somewhere.
Somebody's got to have them.
I have them. I do actually. I can't find them.
Maybe we could sit
I
on
even
this.
looked again this morning, but it shows the shop, and I think it shows where we had the car up on jack stands at the end of the building, and some stuff with the surface plates and everything inside.
Neat.
I just can't find it.
You want us to take your picture with the crane?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a trophy. Back in the day, we've used this crane. We could pull metal in off the truck, pick it up, move it back. I mean, I guess a crane is like if you have a forklift, right?
Yeah, you were lucky to have it, right?
Yeah, it was here. Why take it out?
Oh, so it came with the building.
It was here.
All right.
Yeah.
And could you drive a truck out that end when you guys were here?
Not a semi,
Okay.
because the fence is so close.
Okay.
You just couldn't get it in. And
All right, because this door right here would open and close. I didn't get rid of the door. I just used it because I didn't have the money to, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like I just closed this door and put these French doors in, but they're still on the tracks. And so a semi truck could drive in here, and the other one's the same way. So at some point, somebody was able to drive a big semi truck in here and out the
Yeah.
other side.
And we never did that.
You didn't?
Uh-uh.
But you did roll these doors open, right? You could roll these doors open and have the whole place opened up? Or you don't remember that?
The whole back side of the building was this.
Yeah.
This is all one door, right?
Yeah, well, one
Went all the way down
yeah,
to the
yeah,
ground.
Yeah, like a barn. Yeah, all the way down to the ground.
Because we could open them.
Yep, still.
Because that's what we did when we put the car on jack stand.
Okay, yeah, still that way. All the way down to the ground.
Some of this is like flashback for me.
That's why we like to do this stuff. When you told me the crane was still in here, I figured it was like off to the side and there was like a wall built around it or something. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
just out here doing crane stuff.
I mean, we didn't think you could walk over, push the button, and make it move. See, you did good on that part, right?
Right. I love it though.
Now we know where to lift stuff at. We'll just come over here to the shop.
You know, if you enjoyed this stuff, hit the thumbs up down there and hit subscribe. That way you will see next time we do more of these videos in buildings like this with guys like Doug.
Yeah, so if you need I got the disco ball. You guys are supposed to buy it. If you don't buy it, I need to get a hold of you.
Okay.
That'd be perfect for you.
Right?
I had never had it up. I got it at an auction.
How much work you guys would have got done if you thought you had this up here back then?
Probably not much. Actually, I lived in, when we first got this shop, we had a fifth wheel trailer. That's what I lived in when we came from California.
Really?
Yeah, the first place I really lived was Frog Creek Campground at Carowinds. It was just off the back side of Carowinds. We had a fifth wheel trailer that we came here with, and we lived in it. Well, we bought this building and stuff, and I still lived in it because had the trailer out in the parking lot. When this was the only building here, like it was all gravel off to the side before we did all these additions to this main building. So yeah, I remember coming sliding through here in my 67 Chevelle and spinning around and land over at the door, get in, go have a good night.
This cool, I love it. This was my attempt to get my two girls into motorsports.
Oh yeah, there you go. Little weed eater motor.
It drops onto the back wheel,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
you know? Man.
Just think, you could lift it with the crane there.
If it didn't scare the heck out of them when they were little, you know, they might actually they might be race
now
car
they
drivers.
don't come back.
Yeah, right. That trained them. They were scared to death of motorized stuff after they rode that for once.
Yeah, cool.
I did not have most of these pictures when we filmed the video. I was able to get them afterwards from that guy who runs the Dale Earnhardt archive page on social media, which I'm really grateful he sent me these because that's really the only reference we have for this place.
And those are definitely all original panels.
Yeah. So they had this huge. It was 440 volts of electricity, and I had a hard time getting the power company because they charge more for that electricity. And they had these huge transformers that would bring it down to, you know, the normal, the 120, you know, and so I'm like complaining to the power company saying, please, can't I have, because they had special boxes out on the poles, you know, transformers to deliver that much electricity. And they kept saying, no, it doesn't cost you any more. But I would touch these things and they were always warm.
Yeah, you're paying for it. Somewhere. If it's warm, you're paying for it.
That's how I looked at it.
Are there any breakers in here that have any old writing on them that used to say like welder or anything like that?
Probably, actually.
That's one place we look to find some evidence of past life.
I bet in here there's two. The power gets a little crazy. But there's two.
Was this Roland's office? Or was this door not there?
This don't, you know, it's hard for me to say.
Yeah, it would have gone that way.
Not in you.
Now the electricians have redone it.
They redid them.
Yeah.
Now this is just all shops through here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like upstairs you can kind of see I just made two load-bearing walls here and then brought them over.
And shops on each side.
Yeah. And so originally, this one is one now because somebody wanted to rent it. This is one. That lady sells wine. This person in there is a chapel of some sort. You know?
So where was your 6-foot tall jack stand station at? If you could kind of reference yourself in this hallway.
Well, this is the center of the building, right?
Yeah.
Then it would have been right here as far as that crane would let that car come. We had it up and then we just had fans that would blow the pink fumes out the door so it wouldn't fill the shop up full.
Oh, so you put it smack right here.
Oh yeah, as long as we could get it up high, it was 6 foot high, and then we just stood underneath and we painted away. And we got done, we picked the car back up and away we went. Just because we could, we had a crane.
Where was the crew chief office back
We didn't
then?
have offices.
You didn't have an office? You have
No.
you know, desk, like
Yeah,
nowhere to
no.
write stuff down?
No, we didn't do it. We just worked on the cars, right? We walk in, when you come to work, you just start working on the car. You had a toolbox. You know, that was...
Was there a phone on the wall?
No. They had a phone system. Obviously, you didn't have to worry about being around talking on your cell phone. We didn't have them then. You know, so you couldn't get in trouble for that. Here I am carrying mine around. But
Like if somebody needed to call you, how would they call the shop or?
Page. You know, we had a secretary and, you know, they would page if someone had to talk to you or whatever. Office stuff was up front where Roland's office was.
Huh.
So it was Roland's office and then went over to the end part and that was the motor room.
Are there any funny stories that come to mind now being in here, moving cars around on a crane? Like you ever almost dropped something or somebody?
I'm sure we were stupid somewhere along the line, but...
Would you have helicopters that landed in the parking lot? Somebody was telling me helicopters would land in the parking lot. And
I mean, you know...
Maybe later in the 90s.
They could have afterwards because, you know, with J.D. Stacy coming in buying the place, he then turned into the racing mogul that bought and run 5 teams and did all that stuff. Well, Tim Richmond drove, you know, for him. So I could see Tim Richmond coming in on a helicopter. And he was the flamboyant driver of the day.
Okay.
But I could see that happening with him just because he could.
Yeah. Neat.
What about like the little lean-to and stuff out back? Is that where an air compressor
Air
was?
compressor was out. Is there an air compressor in there now?
No, maintenance stuff, painting and whatnot.
Was there?
No, somebody had removed that.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's why we supplied the whole shop with that.
We can go out here if you want.
I'm gonna go use the restroom. real quick.
There's one more big power room I'll show you that might be more like, it might be labeled still.
Yeah. This
And
is,
then there was an exotic telephone system. You would have thought they were running a bookie operation. I mean, literally like
back in the 80s, maybe they did.
tons and tons of lines. I didn't know any of this stuff, really. You know, I'd have people come by and say, you know, something like, I worked for Blue Max Racing here, and you know, somebody else, I worked with Jake the Suitcase Elder, and I had another guy that said he would stop in on his way home from work up there in the dyno room that they had, which must have been Rusty Wallace.
Yeah.
You know, because he did the upper building. I had no idea that there was 2 or 3 race teams going at the same time here.
Yeah, and we're still not sure what was happening down here at the time that Rusty was up there, because you said this had some kind of Hendrick affiliation down here, but I have not found anybody to tell me exactly what that was yet.
Right?
I don't know. I heard maybe Waddell Wilson was building engines in here or something like that. Somebody watching this video will know.
That was the compressor.
That was the
deal.
compressor. A lot of the walls had sand in them, especially in the upper building, which was hard to break down. You know,
Just like for insulation, you mean?
I think something exploded. That's what I always thought. Like if the motor exploded.
I think the Blue Max dyno room was up there at the end.
No, that could have been.
That one that sticks out up there.
Yeah, as he said, it was at the end over there, so you can see the vents.
Ventilations.
Yeah, I was just looking at that setup.
Yeah, so those are the doors that we were looking at up there.
Right.
And you used to just be able to just slide them open.
Oh, that is the door. You just used it as a wall.
Yep.
I'm
Wow.
I was trying to think what the name of this building was. For some reason, maybe Dresser Engineering
Okay.
could have been the original name of this when we got it.
Somebody, like when I got it and I started peeling the metal doors off and cutting off the bar, because it had bars on the window, all the windows in the
Right.
front. I changed it to Harris Professional Building, and people would go, "You got nerve, man. You got nerve. That old building is dilapidated, and you're going to call it the Harris Professional Building."
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you this room down here. This could be what you were talking about. All these things are telephone lines.
All the big stuff here? Wow.
How far away was the urban sprawl of Charlotte whenever you guys were out here? Was this like country land back then?
Pretty much. Yeah, there wasn't much here. Like this big Harris Boulevard and all that, it wasn't there.
I do know of a picture with, you know, the famous picture of Dale standing with one of the early Wrangler cars, and it's kind of taken from overhead.
So you're in the front.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
The asphalt was shaped the same back then.
Yeah, it was right out here because Whitlock and all them was in the in stall down there, and that's when we took on Wrangler.
Okay.
That's what they took care of all that.
Oh, so your like PR company was on site?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, you know, obviously, you got to think back then. A full sponsorship back then was probably only $750,000, where now it's 15 million, 20 million, because we're all flying in airplanes and private planes, and,
Yes.
and all the costs are escalating. So
In 79, was this built in 79 or 80? Like when did they add this side on and add that part on?
I think it was all in that same era. I can't tell you exactly.
So it was just like you moved in, it was
Because
just
when
this building, and right afterwards stuff started popping up.
Well, yeah, because we had to do motors and we needed more room, and that's when they started building. You know, we did our own motors and stuff like that, so that was the reason for that. We did the multi-team supplied motor to shops weren't really then, because Chevrolet and Ford and all them, they would sit there and spend money with Rick Hendricks, and they'd spend money with RCR, and then there might have been another Chevrolet team. Well, they finally decided that, well, we're spending all this money in 3 different spots, why don't we just put it all into one? And now you go get motors from RCR for Chevrolet teams.
Okay.
Hendricks still does his own, RCR does his, but now those are sources for other Xfinity teams and things like that to get motors.
Yeah.
They just didn't have that back early on.
That was one of the things they were telling me when I was at one of the races with James, that you get your motor from Hendricks or Gibbs or something like that. And if you don't get your motor from them, you probably
Right now,
won't
there's
be
one place to get a Ford motor, and that's Roush's.
Yeah.
They do it all.
Was that drain there back when there was a door in the front?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that there was, I mean, you can see how the bricks were filled in, but that has the same door system as the other one. So when this was probably a solo building before you guys
Was there
got here-
anything in that room? Was there anything in the room after you opened it up?
Oh yeah, we didn't go in there.
This room was just it's a huge power center. You know, all these little side spaces are
Definitely could be.
Were the beams that color green back then? Was that the original beam color?
I don't know. That looks like something
Or was it gray?
painted afterwards or something. Because this is all.
But yeah, that's the mezzanine.
The parts room would have been up there.
Yeah, these are all the heavy.
But I don't see no. You'd think you would have had a Wrangler sticker or something stuck to it.
Yeah.
You know?
It may be inside the door. In the Robert G's shop, you open the door, it has stickers of Darrell Waltrip and stuff inside it.
Yeah, that's the
Definitely a different perspective when you look at it from this side now, right?
Yeah. Right.
Main feeder.
Had the fire marshal knock on the door one day. Said, "I want to look around," you know. And the building inspector, and you know, it's all compliant and everything. But the guy's like, he goes, "I would drive by this and think like that building's gonna burn down." You know, when they do something, because you know, like you have to like pull a permit in order to get them to start looking. Otherwise, I don't even think they're allowed to look.
Right.
You know? And so anyway, they were happy that the power was getting changed and some of those transformers were getting moved out.
Do you recall David Pearson ever coming in here in '79?
No, because when he was just filling in for Dale after he broke his collarbone and stuff, that was just for a select 4 or 5 races we ran them. I do. One interesting thing, we were leading the race at Darlington, and David was driving for us, and that's after Dale got hurt. And we're running the race, and he is so mad because his tube wouldn't go down in the water bottle and he couldn't get water. He was about to pull that thing in just to get a drink of water, even though we ended up winning the race. But he was just mad.
Did Dale ever spend any time at the shop?
Oh yeah.
What did he do when he would come here?
Just be Dale.
What does that mean?
He's a pick.
He
Dale
just
is
come in-
always a pick.
He just come in and
Picking
bother
at
you?
I know. You know, we always discussed. I mean, as soon as like when I did take over the crew chief duties, for whatever reason Jake left, he would just got mad and left. Well, so then we just start talking together and say, all right, well, this is what we did before. This is how we're going to show up, and we made our decisions on how we went to the racetrack. It's just kind of just flipped the switch, and I still did all the same things. Just called me something else.
You ever have to fire anybody? Or was that not your job?
Well, I mean, it was the one thing I did have a hard time with is about everybody was older than I was. Well,
So why'd they pick you to have that title if you weren't?
I was just the guy standing there, you know, was with it from the start. I went to the racetrack every day. I worked with Jake. I saw what he did, and he saw how he did it, and we just kept doing it.
Huh. That is very interesting, especially back then, for it to have older guys have to listen to you. Were like 20, weren't you?
It's hard, yeah. I turned 20 the year we won the championship, and I think I still right now I'm the youngest crew chief to win NASCAR title, and I'm still living.
Yeah, right?
Now I'm 21. Well, maybe not.
This place needs a plaque that says everything that it used to do.
Hey, I would love to put plaques along the front that kind of highlights the fact
If I could come up,
you come up with pictures.
there
and
is pictures somewhere. I just got to find them.
You come up with pictures and I'll duplicate them and put them on the wall. You can make the story.
Yeah.
I'm like, this building, this piece of property here, these two buildings are like worthy of their own documentary. From Osterlund to Stacy to Blue Max, Tim Richmond, Rusty Wallace won his first and only championship out of here.
Out of here also.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's more that we don't know about with the whole Hendrick deal. I don't know if there's a single building shop that contains more significant NASCAR history than this place right here. I don't know if it exists.
Yeah.
From so many different places.
I've heard that. It's neat. Really neat.
But we do know the crane's still there.
Yeah, you could fire it back up.
Up.
That is awesome.
That's
Champion.
awesome.
So I only wore it once so far, and that's when the throwback weekend at Darlington.
You should frame it.
I had some boots that Dale Sr. gave me to wear, and then I wore this.
Oh my gosh.
The only piece of metal I got from the championship.
That is awesome.
That is really cool.
It's got some 1980 patina on it.
Vintage.
I've never touched it, never cleaned it. I've only wore it a couple times. But still got it.
Like always, I hope you enjoyed this. I guess you did if you watched the whole thing. Let me know what you think. And let us know if you'd like to see more videos with Doug. He's a fun guy to, listen to. He's got a good way of explaining things and it's entertaining. I really thought this place was quite surprising. I didn't think there would really be anything to see inside, but the suspended ceiling and the crane and all that, like, it was still there. It's all still there. The doors. You can help us keep history alive, and it costs absolutely nothing to hit thumbs up on this video. Send it to a friend you might think is interesting. Also, we do have channel merchandise at cool retro inspired shirts and hats at stapletonautoworks.com, neither of which I am wearing right now because I am a terrible salesman. But I'm wearing a channel lock hat because they support this channel. You could also become a channel member if you would like to, which is like $5 a month or something, and you have access to past live stream Q&As, and you get a special badge when you leave comments, and you'll feel good knowing that you support history. I'll say all the ways that you can be more involved if you'd like to. No pressure, nothing, but it's there if you want to do it. And we appreciate you being here, even if you're doing nothing. You think, wow, that guy's an idiot, but I really like the stuff they're doing. Great. If you don't like me, that's fine. We're going to keep doing it, and we hope you keep liking it in spite of your dislike of me. Or not. I don't know. Now I'm rambling, and I should get this video done so I can go to bed. We're filming with Dave Marcus tomorrow, and that's going to be really fun.